What's going on, Melon Farmers? D-Mac back with the first franchise mode sliders video of the year. If anything changes, I'll probably just make another one later, maybe in a couple of months. As I get further into my own franchise mode, you do tend to need to change the sliders, update them, alter them just the slightest little bit. But in this one, this is the good ones that I use to just get started in your franchise mode. This is for people who play franchise mode, like actually play the games. I'm sure they would sim just fine as well. So let's get started. Whoa. Geez, look at me forgetting already. If you haven't already, scroll down, hit that like button. All right, so we're going to start in quick settings. We'll go to our quick settings. I have it on I am an expert. We use skill stick. I use all-star difficulty, preset 4, full simulation, on ice trainer, expert, shot aim, manual. There you go. So those are the quick settings. Then we'll go into the game settings. That's where we go. Period length. What I like to do is 7 minutes for the period length. Usually I get decent shots on goal for both sides. I put it on all-star difficulty. Personally, I like dynamic high as my camera. I know when it comes to like YouTube videos and stuff, that might be a little far away. A lot of people watch these videos on their phones, so everything might seem a little small. So dynamic medium might be better, but I find if I'm just playing franchise mode for me, dynamic high is good because you can see a lot of the ice. Shootout camera, go with dynamic low because it's just you and the goalie. Away line changes, we're going to turn them to manual so your guys don't start changing on you at random. Sometimes they'll change before you want them to. Same with home line changes, switch that to manual. And this is all pretty much good. So 7-minute periods, like I said, we'll go into rules. We go into the rules. Fighting, put it down to 1 out of 2. Penalties, 3 of 4, that's fine. Injuries on. Penalty time scaling, either 2 or 3 is pretty good. Otherwise, then, once there's special teams time, if it's way up on like 6 or something, it just takes way too long. You put it down to 2, the power plays, the penalty kills, they're much shorter, they're much quicker. Coincidental penalty time scaling, we'll also put at 2 of 6. So now, on to the main star of this show, the gameplay sliders. So, with attribute effects, I usually go at about 9. Broken stick frequency, we'll put it down to like 27. For injury purposes, take your game speed, maybe turn it down a little bit, maybe 2 out of 6. If that's still a little too fast, maybe 1 out of 6, but I usually do it at around 2 out of 6. 3 out of 6, I find everything's just going really, really fast, and I just find that a lot of your players get injured when you do it that way. Go to the fatigue effect, where I like to put it up to about 75 for both CPU and human. Recovery, put it down to about 29. That way, people get tired, and they don't recover quite as fast, so you don't constantly have, like, perfectly rested players immediately after they get off the ice, because then the game wants your top line guys to be on like 30 minutes of flipping night. Injury occurrence, I actually leave it alone. If you're simulating, I would take it down to like 40 and 40. Like if you're playing some games, simulating a lot of games as well, maybe turn that injury occurrence down to about 40. But if you play all the games, I'd say leave it up at 50. So for the skating, it's all pretty decent, to be honest. The skating's fine. I got no problem with that. But with the shooting, if you don't want the score to end up being pretty darn unbelievably, unrealistically high, I take the one-timer accuracy down by 3, shot accuracy down by 3, shot power, leave that alone, slap shot accuracy down by 3 to like 37, and everything else is just fine. Passing, I don't really touch anything when it comes to passing. I think that's all pretty much fine. Same with puck control. Goaltenders, goalie cover frequency. I put that up to about 60 because goalies do tend to cover the puck quite a bit. The goalie passing, we'll leave that at 70. Then we get to your goalie cross-crease reaction time. I like to put that up at about 53 for everything. Goalie save reaction time up to about 53. That way, goalies are significantly better, and and that includes your goaltender as well. So if you want your goalie stats to be nice at the end of the season, put those goalie reaction time sliders up by like 3. By the time you get to like year 4, year 5, the game does speed up on you, so you can go back into your general after that time. You can go back to your general, and maybe then would be a good time to turn the game speed down, because like I said, the game does get faster over time. And you will also need to put up your deflection reaction time. But I'm getting off topic here. As I said, once you get to year 4 or 5, maybe put them up to like 54. I've gotten like 16 years into a franchise mode and have had to take all these reaction times up to almost 60 because just the game is faster, everybody's better, the shooting is better, everybody's scoring more goals. So we go into the checking. There's only one thing you got to change in checking, and that is CPU aggression. I had to turn that down to 48 from 50, because that way, when you are cycling the puck, your opponent isn't quite as aggressive on you, and you can just more easily get passes across and stuff like that. They're not just dive bombing you. Like, I know that was a big complaint. I've seen people online saying, like, you can't get set up because they're just dive bombing you all the time, especially when you get up to those higher difficulties like All-Star, like Superstar. So if you just turn that aggression down by like 2, you do have a little more space to make passes. Doesn't mean you're going to get a ton of goals because of that, but it's just easier to get yourself set up, play that more like realistic game. The penalties are totally fine. And then we get to the AI. CPU difficulty adjustment. I'd put that at about 1 out of 6. Everything else is just about fine except for CPU strategy adjustment. If it's up at 3 or above, I find in the final 10 minutes of the game, your opponent just turns into like God mode, and you could be up 5-0. It'll be 5-4 in a minute and a half. They'll just like these miraculous comebacks every game. I would turn that down to 1 out of 6. So they will do strategy adjustments depending on the context of the game. So if you are beating them in the third period, even only at 1 out of 6, they do get more difficult to play against when you have a lead. But it's low enough that they're not like full-blown, a whole team of Wayne Gretzky's attacking you at all times. User strategy adjustment, that you can leave that at 3 out of 6. That's totally fine because you're pretty much in control of everything already. The gameplay version, you use whichever one you want. It says version 1.00 right now. I know there's other tuners. You just set it to latest, or you can go with just the original. You know what I mean? Anyway, so that just about covers it. That is basically everything. If you don't want a whole bunch of stuff popping up on your screen, go into your on-ice trainer, turn everything off so you don't got like all those words popping up on the screen like good shot, bad shot, face off, loss, -10, blah, 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 and telling you that you're offside and all those like, hey, pass this way. You know what I mean? I like to turn all of those off. It just gives it a more realistic feel because there isn't all that like text and stuff popping up all over your screen while you're trying to play. Anyway, those are the gameplay sliders that I set up on my personal franchise mode. I've played 5 or 6 games. I don't really have the greatest team in the world. What have I played? I've played 7 games so far in my own personal franchise mode. I believe we're 2-4-1, but we have a relatively not spectacular team after the expansion draft, and I wanted it that way because I created myself as a 17-year-old, and I am projected to go like 2nd overall at the draft behind Connor Bedard. So it's tank for DMAC, you know what I mean? Anyway, that is what I use for franchise mode sliders, and that is going to do it for me for this one. Nice quick video today for you guys. A Be a Pro sliders video will be coming very soon after I'm done fiddling with all that. On my own main Be a Pro series, it's like I haven't quite figured out the way I like them yet 100%, you know what I mean? And my guy's only like 73 overall or something like that. So it's like, yeah, it's tough to gauge what the sliders are going to need to be because you're not really that good yet. Anyway, that is going to do it for me for this one. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. There's new videos coming all the frickin' time. And until next time, you beautiful melon farmers, have a good one.